think one of the most important aspects which Rajiv touched upon is the ability to predict social change. And a lot of social change is driven by technology change, change in geopolitical setups. Today, we have witnessed in the last couple of years tremendous amount of social change. And that's changed the way we work. It's changed the way we have organized work within organizations. To me, that is the single most important factor which is going to drive change, particularly in HR.
Rajendra, how are your abilities as an HR leader influencing the organization? You know, you and HNS, HN Srinivasa from the services sector. So what part of your HR strategy are you able to inculcate in your business that makes all the difference?
So principally, we believe that the real drivers for change in the coming years would typically be, like Rajiv mentioned about demography. We believe that the demography is going to be far younger than what it is today. We believe that the kind of content that people I'm talking from my own business context perspectives too. The way the audiences would try and consume content would be a completely different ballgame altogether. Competitions would come from multiple segments. Technologies would change to drive a lot of disruptive innovations. The specialization era would set in. That is going to happen. And today we believe that as the demography becomes younger, the need for the organizations to create more jobs would be far higher. And being able to then engage those younger workforce with the organization would be far bigger challenge than what it's currently today. We believe that if we have to help support this whole challenge, then possibly creating a framework which actually drives more of innovation within the organization, which is more technology-led, allowing the social medias to really engage people together, and the whole concept of iWorld, which is treating individual entity as a unique entity and creating HR frameworks which are able to then help support the organization initiatives would be the way we will see the way forward.
Sure. Let me go up to Dhruv. Your philosophies in HR, how are they impacting with the competence that the organization has built in predicting the future?
So one of the important competencies that we see in terms of predicting the future is disruptive creativeness. Challenging the status quo that is there. Looking at the status quo and seeing how the status quo can be changed or challenged so that the future can be created, especially in human resources. A lot of our paradigms have been created over the years and have today become standardized. If we want to predict the future for the human resources or the people practices, we need to challenge the current status quo, even take an approach which is contrarian in nature, contrarian in belief sometimes, and then look at how we are able to take the next challenges through innovation, thinking on the box and out of the box to see how we can create the future which applies to the next generation of organizations.
Let me go up to HN Srinivas. When, being from the industry that you are, where everything has to be perfect, whether we like it or not, because customer centricism is everything in that industry. What are those aspects in HR that you talk about that will help predict the future?
See, I was listening very carefully to the points that came up by my other colleagues and speakers here. See, the three things that becomes extremely important for a service sector industry like ours, a distributed service delivery company in hundreds of locations. One is the speed at which technology is changing the business models and the way we work in the organization. Changes particularly in telecom and IT technology, and its ever speedier applications for production and distribution of goods and services, for delivering services in organizations, its impact on HR models and HR frameworks. That is point number one. And point number 2 is the stakeholder management. Somebody touched on the aspect of CSR. How do you relate with community, multiple stakeholders? How do you define the terms of coexistence, define and redefine your terms of coexistence with multiple stakeholders, customers? The way you define your relationship with customer in an industry like hotels or banks or airlines is changing continuously, partially impacted by technology and also the people capabilities in frontline.
Sure.
Number 2. Number 3 is the future of talent management. How do you address the issue of talent management? Sourcing, onboarding, recruiting, onboarding, training, and developing talent for service organizations. The models are completely changing. I keep hearing people saying that there's a talent shortage, there's a war for talent. I don't think these are the issues, in my opinion. It is how do you address talent as a central theme in an organization, service companies, because 78% of the employees in our kind of company are in touch with customers 24/7, thinking on their feet, creating and delivering a wide variety of service. So talent has to be sourced, has to be recruited appropriately, onboarded, trained, and developed. So that approach itself is completely changing. So these are the 3 things. One is how do you define your stakeholder management, and how do you define talent, how do you relate to communities, some of the thoughts and technological changes and its impact on HR models.
Okay, I'm going to go up to Rajiv and Adil and tell you to comment on the world at work at large. You know, they say the world at work at large is unpredictable. And to that extent, the ambition and aspiration of a lot of youngsters are unpredictable. How Mahindra and Mahindra as a large group is able to handle that? And also, how is SR Group able to handle that?
Okay, I think first, what is the purpose, to define a higher order purpose for the group, and then how do we empower people and unleash the potential of teams and of individuals. And in doing so, there are 5 behaviors that we encourage. The first one says, use the whole mind, combine left and right brain. The second one says, be a multiplier and not a diminisher of energy and passion and commitment by not wanting to control and command, but by listening and by respecting people. The third says, encourage innovation by allowing risk-taking, and that means managing fear and learning from failure. The fourth is slightly Buddhistic. It says, be mindful in the age of distraction. How do you live here and now? And finally, and most important, how do you create a culture of trust by authenticity and by credibility, where thinking, saying, and doing are aligned, where we have the courage to be who we are and to remove the mask.
Well said. Adil, I want your comments on the world at work at large.
See, the world of work at large is going through a sea change. And when we are going, let's not look at the past and the history, but let's see how is the world of work changing, which you can predict because the knowledge is outdating itself at a very fast pace. What do organizations like ours do to keep pace with that? Because future is what the perspective is about. Number one is, are we building capability in the organization to adapt to the change? Are we creating a flexible organization which can adapt to the change very fast? Are we making them learn to learn? Because the knowledge you cannot teach them, because the knowledge is outdating itself at such a fast pace that there is no one particular theme of knowledge that you can teach them. How are you training your people to learn? So learning to learn. Third is creating realizable value. Do people understand that prime purpose of business is to create value? So how do they do in their work what is called realizable value creation? And the fourth is, how do we teach our people to take judgment and management decisions in domains of ambiguity? And that's very important because the world is ambiguous. Management is about taking judgment and decisions. How do we build this capability in our leaders and managers to say, I am about to take decisions in an ambiguous world. I don't have full information. And the last is, how do we, because most of our people want to move very fast. The young talent wants to move fast. Mature confidence and seasoned judgment at the leadership level continue to be very, very critical. How do you do that? How do you give a young guy exposure such that he develops his mature confidence and seasoned judgment, which predominantly comes with experience, fast enough so that in a short period of time you develop these capabilities.
Saugata, would you agree with what Adil and Rajiv are trying to point here? That in discovering the future, these elements play a strategic role. You know, I have a little disconnect with one part. CSR is very crucial because as a founder of World CSR Day, I realize that it's most crucial, the social innovation and change we are talking about. But HR is still not ready to propagate that completely.